G'day! Today we're going to take a look at a game called Jetpack.
Do you mean Jetpack by Adam Pedersen from 1993?
No, not that one.
If not that, then perhaps Jetpack for the ZX Spectrum.
The computer behind me? That one?
What is it then?
Yes, that one by Mark Bradley from 1992. For X Windows.
That has to be the most obscure game you could pick.
I have to agree that this Jetpack is pretty obscure. I'd say that this is partly because it runs on X Windows. Much like the other games, you play as an unnamed person wearing a jetpack. Your goal is fairly simple. You need to find the key and return to the door to finish the level. There are of course some hazards to make your life more difficult. The guard patrols the map, following a seemingly random path. It appears to be locked to a grid, travelling on the centre lines of the tiles that make up the maze. Generally, they are fairly easy to avoid. Fireballs are much more hazardous. They bounce around the level and will often block your path. Sometimes they turn up in large packs, which can be quite difficult to navigate. The Wall Sweeper is a speedy robot that clings to the walls. These can be dodged by flying, but it takes a moment to overcome inertia, so good timing is essential. The levels are generally mazes, which can lead to you consuming most of your jetpack fuel finding the key. Luckily, there are some fuel pickups that you can get on the way. These are limited. I'd advise you to leave some for picking up on the return trip. You can only carry 1000 fuel, any picked up after that is simply wasted. Finding the key and my way back to the door is where most of the challenge of this game comes from. Running low on fuel is very likely if you don't remember the way back. Remaining fuel carries over to the next level, so if you use too much, it can make solving the next level much more difficult. Fortunately, you always start with at least 500 fuel. There are a few levels which are much more open, having only a few walls and platforms. The lack of landmarks makes it difficult to find your way back in that case. If you are killed by a bad guy or don't make it back, you have 3 lives before the game is over. Each time you die, you're given a full fuel tank and the level is reset. The controls require a 3-button mouse, with the centre button firing your jetpack and the other buttons moving you in the appropriate direction. There is some basic keyboard controls for movement, but you can't fire the jetpack, so the mouse is still required. I found the mouse controls worked best. Whilst it was a little awkward at first, I got used to it fairly quickly. Being as simple as it is, there's nothing more to it. Its uncomplicated graphics work well on vintage workstations. So if your machine can run some form of Unix with X Windows, it's fairly likely that this game will be playable. On more modern displays, it might be a little small on screen due to higher resolutions. That's all I have for today. I quite enjoyed playing Jetpack. I thought it was quite fun as a quick distraction. Hopefully I'll be able to get the next video out a bit quicker. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.